Hey everybody, today I've got a project I am super excited to share with you. It is this plywood and laminate coffee table with 4 built-in wireless phone charging pads on modern builds. I designed this project to come out of a single sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. Both the top and the legs are going to be made out of 3 layers. Here you see me using the circular saw and a straight edge to break this sheet down into 3 16-inch wide strips. And after that, I broke down 2 of those pieces in half so that I had 3 16 by 48-inch pieces for the top. So I'm going to be using 4 of these wireless charging pads that you can get online. They're going to be able to charge through the laminate, and I'll have 1 on each end and then 2 here in the center of the table. Those will then feed into this USB charging brick, and then finally this will get plugged into the extension cord that will feed through the leg of the table and into the wall. The next thing I need to do is make all of the cavities that these electronics are going to fit into, and we're going to start with these charging pads. Wireless chargers come in all shapes and sizes. I chose these round ones specifically so that I could use a hole saw to carve out their spots. Next, I started carving the middle layer, which is where all of the cables are going to be routing. I used the jigsaw to create tunnels that all of the cables will be running through to the charging ports, and I also made a big recess in the center of the board, and that's where our charging brick is going to go. The bottom layer only has the center carved out, so I just transferred the lines onto that piece and cut them out the same way. Closing off the bottom of the table is going to allow us to hide the majority of the wires, which is 1-800-SUPER-PRO. Off camera, you'll notice I also added these access points, and that's where the power cable is going to feed through the leg and into the tabletop. And now it's time to glue this whole thing up, and it's important that you don't have too much glue squeeze out in your tunnels. If you do, you want to make sure and wipe or chisel them clean. I also used a silicone glue brush to spread the glue around the perimeter and get a strong bond. Once everything was lined up, I grabbed my bucket of 99-cent squeeze clamps and I went to town. I also grabbed a couple heavy things to weigh down the center of the glue up. I've been getting more familiar and comfortable with the router lately, and I'm going to be using it to cut each end of the table into a circular shape. I basically secured it to this piece of wood that's going to have a pivot point, allowing it to cut in a circular motion. Now, I did a test for this yesterday and it worked really great, so now it's time to do it for real on this table. First, I found the halfway point of my table, which was a little less than 8 inches. Then I measured about 8 1/4 inches off of the end of the board, and that is where I put my pivot point. You want this to be snug and have resistance, but not so tight that the router can't move. Nailed it. This circle cutting jig ended up working great. I did my best to move slowly and controlled. I also kept an eye on my cord and made sure that I wasn't going to run into it. Woo! It worked! And with that, I could rinse and repeat and do the same steps for the other side. At this point in the build, things were taking shape and looking great. I was super excited. Oh, and a little fun fact, apparently this shape we just made is called a stadium. The plywood I used had some voids in it, and to fix that, I mixed up some Bondo wood filler, which I had never used before. I used their multi-purpose solution all the time, and I was curious how this would work. And it turns out the color is great, and it sands and is stronger than any other product I've used. Most wood fillers I've used have a hard time filling large voids, but this worked great and sanded super clean. And with that, the structure for our tabletop is done, and it's time to start building the legs. And before we move on, I'd like to give a big thanks to the sponsor of today's episode, Trademore. Trademore is a super fast and easy way for you to buy and sell pre-owned electronics online. To see what your phone's worth, just follow the link down in my description to Trademore's website and click Sell a Device. From there, just answer a few quick questions about your product and you will get an offer. If you choose to sell your device, Trademore will provide all the packing material and the shipping label prepaid. And once they receive the items, you get paid through PayPal or MasterCard gift card. You can also purchase premium pre-owned devices that go through a 30-point inspection test before being sold by clicking Buy a Device and picking what fits you best. Items purchased include a 30-day money-back guarantee and free 2-day delivery. Now, back in the day, when I upgraded phones, I would keep the old one just to make sure I kept all the photos, videos, and files as a backup. But now that I store everything on the cloud, that is completely unnecessary. So instead of these two phones collecting dust, I am actually selling them for a total value of $550. One for $503 and the other for $47. It's good for sustainability, plus you can save or make some money. So one more time, that is trademore.com, and the links are down in the description. Now back to the build. Conveniently, the legs are 16 inches tall, so here I'm cross-cutting 6 pieces to 14 inches wide. The legs will eventually be 13 inches wide and 16 inches tall. One of the legs is going to be a simple glue up, just 3 layers, but the other is going to need to have the power cable feeding through it and into the top. So I just grabbed a pencil and I made this ugly sketch of what I wanted to carve out. This does not have to be pretty, but it is nice to have a smooth cut so the cable can feed more easily. And since this is the middle layer, it's all going to be concealed eventually. I did this glue up in 2 runs, that way I could make sure my edges lined up as much as possible. And while I let that glue set up, I unboxed the laminates that I'm going to be using for this project.
Now, I've used the laminate a couple times before, but I picked up white laminate, which I'm really excited to see. Whoa. Oh, that looks awesome. Perfect.
Laminate cuts really easily with a 60-tooth blade, and I used a few 2x4s to make sure that I wasn't close to cutting into the ground. I cut all of my pieces about 1 inch oversize on each edge, that way I wouldn't have any issues when it came to installing them. If you've never applied laminate before, don't be scared. It's a relatively simple process and you don't need very many specialty tools. You will need what's called a seam roller or a J roller, and this is what we use to flatten out the laminate against the substrate. And to adhere the laminate to our plywood, we are going to use contact cement or rubber cement. This is a low VOC formula, which also has a longer cure time, which is really convenient out here in the Joshua Tree Desert. Now, there's no reason to be messy, but I do like to apply a relatively thick coat. That way I make sure and get a good bond. You apply a coat to both the laminate and whatever your substrate is, then you let both of them dry completely until they're no longer tacky to the touch. Then, when you put the 2 pieces together, they have a magical, instant bond that is super permanent. Whenever you lay your piece down, you want to lay it down from the center out to avoid as many air bubbles as possible. Then you can use a J roller to work any extras that you've got out to the edge. Depending on how much overhang you have, you want to be careful around your edges. I've actually chipped around the corners, which is never fun. Once the laminate is down, you can move straight to a flush trim bit in the router and use that to clean up all of the overhang. Next, I grabbed this big 1.5 inch roundover bit and I used it to carve this cool cove on each edge of the leg. The tops and bottoms, of course, are going to stay square, but this is just a cool detail that I wanted to try. And now that I know how cool it looks, I definitely want to try it again on another project. I used 80 grit sandpaper to help smooth out that round over and make it really consistent. I also added some wood filler anywhere that I needed it and sanded everything up to 220 grit. Now it's time to add all of the electronics and the chargers into this tabletop. And the first thing I did was feed all of the USB cables into the spots that they needed to be. In hindsight, it would have been nice to get shorter cords, but these worked. I used hot glue to make sure that the connection from the cable to the charger was really secure. Then I hot glued the charger itself into place. I got really lucky in the fact that these charging pads are the exact same thickness as one sheet of the plywood. So I was able to just put these in place with no risers or spacers. With the pads in place, I flipped the table over and I installed the USB charging brick in the center of the cavity. Like I mentioned, I had quite a bit of extra USB cable that I had to manage. If I had shorter cords, this would have been way cleaner. I'm not gonna need the plug for this, but I will need the connection for the power adapter, so I cut and stripped those wires. I also don't need the socket on the end of the extension cable, so I cut that off so that I could feed it through the leg and into the tabletop. Now, I am not a certified electrician and do not take electrical advice from me, but I am going to show you what I did. I connected my positive and my neutral leads to each other. Then I used shrink wrap to make sure that all of those connections were insulated. I also used electrical tape on the outside of the heat shrink. If both cables had a ground wire, I would connect those, but I didn't, so I just snipped it short, and I put heat shrink over the entire connection. And one more time, just to reiterate, be safe around electricity and do it at your own risk. At this point, the electronics are in place and I could glue my legs in. I made sure that they were square to the table and used some Maker brand clamps to hold them tight. If you're interested in building this project or something similar for yourself, I'll have some really basic plans linked to my website down in the description. Make sure and check those out. I also added a couple of screws through the top for some extra strength. And now it was time to get back into laminate mode and apply the biggest piece for this project. Just like before, I applied a coat to each piece, the laminate and the substrate, and let them dry completely. I decided just to put some of the contact cement straight to the wireless chargers, and it didn't have any negative impact. You can also see me using these riser blocks to make sure that I lined everything up before I finally put it down in place. If you accidentally touch your laminate to whatever you're adhering it to, you are screwed, so make sure it's lined up before you go for it. One of the best parts about working with laminate is that once you clean up the edges, you are basically done. There's no need for polyurethane finishes for the top or anything like that. Right after application, you have a super durable finish. I did need to address the plywood edges though, and for that, I applied a couple of coats of Maker brand Simple Finish, which really brought out a lot of that texture and color. And with that, this coffee table is complete. Without any of the additional charging features, I love the shape and the look of this coffee table. It's a mix of modern, Art Deco, and 70s funk that I really love. The laminate came out clean, and I love the plywood edges, both the square cut and that cool cove on the legs. All you've got to do is plug your table in, which definitely feels weird to say, and you are ready to go. You've got 4 wireless charging pads ready to use. The next time I do a similar build, I'm going to indicate where the chargers are somehow. That way everything is a little easier to find. So that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this project. This table looks amazing. I love the shape and I want to try it on other projects. First, probably being a headboard. The roundover on the legs is super fun, and I think if I do a headboard, I will include this detail. The laminate projects I've been doing lately have really got me inspired to keep using it and to try out new colors. This was my first time using white, which looks super modern and clean, and recently I did the kitchen in the school bus tiny house I built out of orange laminate, and that looked sick. One more thanks to Trademore for sponsoring this video. Links are down in the description if you're interested in learning more about them, and we'll see you next time on Modern Builds. Bye everybody.